There is no good instruction online for how to do it, and the book just says put the cam back in. So let me show you how you have to do it to get it in. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Motorcycle Rewind, and today we're back with the Honda CB200. You may remember the one with the smoked cam. Well, now it's time to put it all back together. Okay, let's start by putting the cylinder on. I want to apologize for the little hum in the background. That is the air conditioner. It is slowly turning to summer here in South Louisiana, so well, you gotta make sure you put it on the right way. Make sure that's there. Make sure that's there. Cam. Make sure that's gonna end up in the right spot. Yep. And just work them in. Which one is it? This one. There we go. This one too. There we go. Put a little bit of oil in the cylinders. Just have to make sure to get your cam wheel right here. That, not cam wheel, the cam tensioner inside. There you go. Make sure everything's where it goes. There we go. First one down. Let me put that bolt in right there. Get this guy down. And guys, if you haven't had a chance to check out Honda, the world's best tire changer, check it out. And the great thing is all of this folds into and fits into that bag. These guys are a great sponsor of the channel, so check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Now we get the top end. And again, I'm going to set this here. I'm going to feed my cam chain through. Holding my cam chain. Got my gasket on. And we are through. Let me just double check, make sure we didn't miss anything. I got all of my guides. My dowel pins are in. Gaskets in. O-rings are in. Yeah, we're good. It's easier to check it now than to check it later. Now it's time to put the cam in. So just want to make sure that you have it at top dead center. The crank is at top dead. Now we can time the valves to that when we put the cam in. Okay, let's go ahead and install the cam. There is no good instruction online for how to do it, and the book just says put the cam back in. So let me show you how you have to do it to get it in. The first thing you want to do is pull the end off of the tack side. Pull this piece out. It's a little guide pin. You've got to remember to put that back in later. Pull that out. It gives you a little bit more clearance. And we start feeding the cam through the chain. Right? The sprocket goes in from this side. So we start feeding the cam through the chain. When you get to about right there, let me move you over. When you get to about right there, you have to make sure your orientation of your sprocket tabs. So we got to have it straight down so it'll go through the gap. Right? Got it, and then come up through there. Now we're halfway there. Now we got to do more spinning, because now we have to, at the same time, before we go too far, we've got to be able to get our cam sprocket onto, let me make sure I find the side, onto this side, looking for my marks. Yeah, they're on both sides. Good. So I can slide, before I get the chain any further over, I've got to make sure I get my cam sprocket through here, right there. Now, inching it forward, got to pull. I rotate the cam sprocket, bolt or flange, whatever you want to call it. Rotate that so then I can get my cam chain over it. We're almost there. Over it, and then now we're almost clear At this point, you've got to rotate the cam sprocket to where these tabs are up, so I have enough room to clear back here. Then once you do, now I'm in. Now it's about getting it on to the cam sprocket in the right alignment. It's just that simple. It took me 6 or 7 times of doing it before and then had to step away and go have lunch and then come back and say, okay, let me just take a nice simple look at this. Took my time and made it happen. Now, want to warn you, if you don't pay attention, the first time you do it, it goes in easy the other way, because you can feed this guy back through here and it just tips down, goes in really easy. But it's the wrong way. I mean, you can accidentally put the cam in the wrong way because it's easier to install. But it's not correct. So let's go ahead and see if we can line this sprocket up. Again, we're still at top dead center right here, and then I'm looking to line I'll show you the points I'm looking for. Okay guys, this is from page 18 in the service manual. It shows you to put it at the timing at top dead center, and then I'm looking for these. There's 2 machine lines and then the knock pin, and I'll show you what those are. So on this side, this will be the point side. This is the knock pin right here. I want that pointing straight up and down, and then you can see this machine line right there should be in alignment with the top of the head. Let me show you. Okay, you see how you can see this? Let me kill this light. See how you can see this machine line right there, which is in parallel to the head. So we're good. Let's put a bolt in. So just screwing this guy in with a little Loctite. Let me make sure I'm on it. Yep, should be. Just a little blue Loctite. Take your time with this, because the last thing you want to do is be looking for it in the bottom of the case. So that guy, and now I'm going to rotate the engine just enough so I can get to the other side. So let's see if we can do that, and then I'll rotate it around and torque them down. I don't want to torque them until I get the other one on. Okay, right there, we'll put a little Loctite on. Make sure that the sprocket is seated. It's got a little lip that it sits on. Just make sure it's seated, and you can push it down to tighten it up. I'm going to crank it over again, get to the other side, and then just hand tighten that one a little bit more, and then I'll torque it down. Just want to make sure that we're still at top dead here. We're still lined up. Yep, we're good. Let's make sure this is hand tight all the way, then we're going to torque it down. There we go. I knew we were there. Okay, now on to the next step, putting in my rockers, everything else, then we put that together. Okay, putting some oil on the cam lobes, on the cam chain, just to make sure we're good. We'll put some on all of these as we put these in as well. It's not really a right way and a wrong way, there's just a way. Just make sure they ride on the lobe right there. And this guy is going to move back a little bit, so we'll go this way, that way. One more. I'll leave it over here. Huh. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. Got the rockers in. Okay. And I'm gonna lube up these guys a little bit, just squirting some oil in the passages where they go. You could just oil them up in your hand if you wanted to. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna go ahead and put some on the tops of the valves, where the rockers are going to ride. So then just one at a time, the rocker pins, we're just going to slide them in. Come on, there we go. And they just go all the way through this side too. Making sure you put them in the correct way. They've got a hole on the end. That way you can fit a screw or a bolt into it to be able to fish them out. So, okay, so I'll show you one thing I like to do just to make sure I've got oil where it should go. I'll show you here. There's holes in the tops of the rockers. So I want to put some oil in there, and then I want to take just a screw it into here once you have it in, and then just move it back and forth just to make sure it's lubed up really good in there. And then that's it. Then work my way around and do all of them the same way. Then I'm going to put some more oil in on top just because it won't hurt. It's not going to hurt it. Oh. Okay guys, I got this thing all sandwiched back together. I thought the camera was running, but it wasn't. For the points and the tack to be able to bolt it in, it does fit together. You just got to find the sweet spot, wiggle it around, because the point, not the points, but the rocker shafts go into the outside of these housings too. So you've got to be able to put the camshaft, fit the rocker shafts in, and then just get it lined up exactly, and then it'll just slide right in. So go ahead and put your cover on, and then I've got a bolt that goes right here too that sucks that down. Just want to make sure that that's going in. Yep, that's in all the way down. Okay, there's a torque sequence for these, and I'm going to tighten them down initially, then we'll check it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I know it's kind of hard. I wrote the numbers down, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's go ahead and zip these things down, and then we'll check the torque. It's only like 15 foot-pounds, so it's not hard, not much. And this is on the low setting. 5 and 8. Now let's go ahead and torque them down. 8. Okay, so you can see I just torqued this down, but now it's all apart. Because once I tightened it up, when I tried turning it over, it was really stiff. So I pulled the top end off. I loosened up all the valves, make sure I didn't have a valve that was hanging up. I loosened all that up, put oil everywhere, and then still turned it over, and it was still too tight. Then I loosened up this guy, turned it over, it was fine. Tightened it back up, it's good. This guy just may have bound up a little bit when I was putting it in. I put this one in second. So once I loosened it, turned the engine over a couple of times, and I turned it over on the drill, it's all good now. So now we get to go back and put it back together. Okay, now we're putting our time in advance in there, and it's really simple. So you've got a notch right here, and you got this little pin right there. So it only goes on one way. And then make sure that it moves, and then you're good to go. Then this guy goes right in on top. So just putting our points plate on, and really want to go underneath this. I only took out one of them. Let me see, it should have a spot to where it fits in pretty good. Let's just rotate it. Yeah, somewhere around there, I think. I'm not going to go too crazy tightening it down because we still have to adjust the valves and the points. So just putting it all back together for right now. So we're going to set the valves, but before we do it, we need to unroll this toolkit for this guy right here so I can adjust my valve tappets. Again, everything starts at top dead center, and for this one, they're all the same. Even though it's a twin, both valves, both pistons move up and down at the same time. So once you get it at top dead, you just set them all to the same value, and it's right here. The value. Let me zoom in on this. The value is 0.002 or 0.05 millimeters for that. So what I'm doing is I'm using 0.03, 0.003 or 0.08 millimeters, which is a little bit bigger, and I shoot for a tight one. Then I'll get down to this one and I'll show you how it fits. I'd rather have them on the loose side than on the tight side, so let me go ahead and do this side. Start with my 3. Fits in pretty snug. Use this little wrench, or if you don't have this little wrench, use a little pair of needle nose pliers. Come on, this now it's not going to fit on this one. It fit on the other one. There we go. And just go till it gets snug. A little bit more. Let me bend this guy a little bit. Let me go in a little bit more. Yeah, now it's starting to grab. About right there. I'm feeling pretty good. It's got a lot of drag on it. And then check it. Make sure it's still good. I like to leave it a little loose because I know that I'm always going to tighten it up a little bit when we go here. So give it a good grab and then work it around. And then we'll slip the 2 in there. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and change these O-rings out. There we go. Got it. Put up a fight. The other 3 were easy. And just put that on. We'll put a little oil on that just to slide it in, and we'll screw those in. All the valves are done, and now it's on to ignition timing. Okay, let's put these tappet covers in. I just like to hand tighten them. They've got an O-ring in there. They don't need to be smoked. So many times people crank these down too much. I just use a socket and then just hand tighten them, and that should be good enough. If you notice there's a little oil leak, then you just give it a little crank, but not too much. Little goes a long way with these. Okay, here we are setting our points gap. What we're going to do is turn the crank till we get to the widest point on the gap, on the points gap here, and then I need it to be around. Let me see which one it is. Okay, contact breaker points is between 0.3 and 0.4 millimeters. So let me grab that. Okay guys, for doing the valves and the ignition timing and the points gap, I like to use the owner's manual. So owner's manual, you have the service manual and the owner's manual. Owner's manual is super simple. Everything's done very well. All you have to do is search for them, and you can find them. They're out there. And this points gap is supposed to be set at 0.3 to 0.4. I've got 0.33 right here, millimeters, so which will be good. All you do is loosen these 2 locking screws, and then right here you just adjust. Let me get you guys up a little bit. There, it may be better, less of a glare. You got this guy right here following this gap here. If I turn one way or the other, it's going to open or close. So I need it to be at this 0.3. This one's here. I'm just going to go till it starts to bind up a little bit. I just want it to be nice and easy. And then once we set the ignition timing with a light when it's back on the bike, we'll do it. Make sure I'm turning the right way. That should be closing. There we go. Going the wrong way. Story of my life. Okay, that's a little bit much, but let's go out this way. This way. Too much. I could have loosened the screws up a little bit more, but that looks pretty good right there. Yeah, it's got a little drag, but that's perfect. Then you just tighten this guy down here, and here. And then that's it. The rest we'll do on the bike. Okay, so the last thing is just to put this cover on, and the rest, yeah, I need to get a new screw for this side because that one's pretty screwed up, so I didn't have another one, but that's okay for now. So we are, oh, we'll put the cover on to mount it into the bike, but we'll take it off when we have to set the timing. Screw this guy in. Any oil that's in, once we get it in the bike, we'll change the oil too. Awesome, looks like a wrap. So guys, we put the CB200 engine back together. Next step is putting it in the frame, and that's for the next video. We'll put it in the frame and then hopefully put juice to it, get it to fire up. All the rest of the parts are in here for it, carburetor, everything else that we need, and under there. So we're hoping that we can get all of this onto that and then be done. I'm super excited about this. Okay guys, so there you have it. Our CB200 engine back together. Turns over, everything works. Everything appears to work. Hopefully it all works. Next video, this engine will be in that frame. Everything else that's here will be on that bike. Guys, I want to thank you for watching yet another episode of Motorcycle Rewind. And do me a favor, like, tag, share, and follow us on Instagram at Motorcycle Rewind. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day. Hey guys, let me know if if you're looking for a CB200 paperweight. We've got lots of different sizes. This is for the heaviest of papers. If you want that, we've got this guy, and then this guy is no good because the valve guide, the valve seat broke off where the slide goes in. This is not as heavy. You know, we got different types of. Let me know if you need some paperweights because we got lots of them, lots to choose from.